Yo, welcome back to the GM Podcast. I'm Miller.
It's Gav.
And today, the Thunder have just won Game 7. Great day. Great day to be a Thunder fan.
Congrats.
And we're going to give you guys a conference finals preview.
Yeah.
And we don't really want to talk about this Game 7 because it was an absolute blowout. And we're going to talk about how some of the matchup-related things will obviously compare in the Minnesota series.
Right.
But let's go ahead and start off with that. Minnesota, OKC. Who do you have winning that series, and what are some intricate matchup things that you
I have OKC in 6.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a great series. I think go either way, but I just think that OKC just played their hardest series, and
Yeah, me too.
you know, you could say that Minnesota matches up well with them, but you can also say the same thing on the complete other side. They match up well, and I feel like players who have had good postseason so far are going to be more. Rudy Gobert on the offensive end is going to be very much more limited. I think Randall will have his toughest series. I know I keep saying that, but like, it's going to
happen. Yeah,
like, And I'm not saying he's going to go back to his New York Knicks playing days, but I think he'll have a rough game or two.
Yeah, he will.
With Chet Holmgren, and Hartenstein. So, yeah, I just think that it'll be a tough series for them, and I'm going to take OKC in this series.
I have OKC in 7.
Okay.
I just think Minnesota, both of these teams are prone to go on long shooting cold streaks. Like, it's bad for both teams. You saw it last year in the Dallas series for Minnesota and OKC, honestly.
Yeah.
And then you've seen it in OKC, some in the Denver series. You've seen Minnesota go cold in the Golden State series at points. There's an ant. I was looking at that too. Sorry, guys. We're not really prone to doing that. But, I just feel like there are a lot more guys that can go cold on this thing. It just match up so perfectly. And we were talking about this earlier, by the way. This is probably, before looking ahead to the conference finals, this might be the best conference finals in a very long time. And we obviously, Lakers and Nuggets played a couple years back, and Heat and Celtics, that was a good one. So, we're just going to have to see what happens. But I think it will be interesting on how these two teams match up and who makes shots in this series. And what it's mainly for is we know that Shea and Jokic was kind of like for the MVP, like whoever wins this, if you get MVP, there's nothing to argue.
Yeah.
For Ant and Shea now, it's kind of the same thing. Who's going to win this series and who will prevail as, a better player in people's eyes?
I think the winner of the series will call the better player.
Exactly. Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see that. And then do you want to go ahead and talk about the Indiana series as well?
Just to build off, I think one thing that Minnesota has that Denver didn't is the depth to be able to compete with OKC. And you have, Nas Reed and guys like that. I think, Westbrook had a couple games, but he also has times where he hurts you. Of course, it's Westbrook.
Absolutely.
There wasn't a lot of guys on the bench that really hurt you for the Nuggets. And I think that they have guys that can win them games coming off the bench.
Absolutely.
Both teams, Dante DiVincenzo. And I think this will be a big series,
I think all of these games will be close.
I think all the games will be close for sure. And I just think that, like I said, like you got Randall with Chet.
Yeah.
You got Hartenstein with Gobert.
Yeah.
You got, Anthony Edwards and Shea. You got Jaden McDaniels and J-Dub. Like,
you just don't see a mismatch anywhere across the board.
There's no complete mismatch on the court at all, no.
So it's really just, I think OKC has been the better defensive team, better team all around all season, and I think that's what will give them an advantage. Obviously, I think they're just a more cohesive team at this point in time. Yeah. So that's what I see happening. But we could go ahead and move on to Indiana and New York, which is probably one of the greatest series looking ahead that I can remember in a while. Because we talked about this. We weren't making a pick until like this moment where we actually had to pick. So go ahead and give me your pick. You want me to go first? Yeah.
Okay. I don't know why. I do know why a little bit, but give me Indiana.
Okay. I knew you were going to say I had a feeling.
Yeah, give me Indiana. I think New York has a better first 5.
Yeah.
I think they're better. But I just think that the way that, and I think this is going to be a big series for Brunson because they don't really have the guys to be able to completely guard
100%.
him the best way possible, especially coming out in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
But the way they push the pace, the way they, I love I'm not saying Halliburton's better than Brunson. It's hard to say right now. But I think he's just right there.
I don't think he's just right there.
I think he's right there on the simple fact that, like I said, he runs that team. He's what makes that engine go.
I do think he's the engine. I just don't
he's
think
the engine that makes that team go, and I think he'll get them over the hump. I think that, Siakam will have a big series on Cat.
Yeah.
I think Miles Turner will have a big series.
Mm-hmm.
They can stretch the floor just like kind of Boston can a little bit. They're a little bit more consistent. They don't have the ceiling that Boston did, but they're a little bit more consistent. And they got the better coach as well.
Yeah, they got the better coach. They do. They
got a better coach.
But I just think the Knicks. I have the Knicks in 7.
Okay.
I just think better player.
Who gets home court
advantage? New York gets home court.
Okay. So game 7's at their place.
Yeah, I just think Jalen Brunson will take control in late games, and it's crazy because this is another series where you look across the board, it matches up perfectly. Miles Turner and Cat is probably worse defensively. Miles Turner's a little bit worse offensively. Yeah. Pascal and OG, that's going to be a great matchup. Mikal Bridges probably guarding. Who would he guard on the Pacers? He would probably guard Nesmith. So you're putting Jalen Brunson on Halliburton. You're probably not putting Jalen Brunson on Halliburton.
Oh, guarding?
Yeah. Mikal Bridges would probably guard Halliburton, and then Brunson maybe on Nembhard.
Yeah.
And then, I think they just match up so perfectly.
Nah, they do. And
they have nobody to guard Jalen Brunson.
I give the edge to, honestly, Cat had an elite series, and he had the mismatch advantage. Yeah. But I don't think he has a complete mismatch advantage this series.
He doesn't.
And I think he'll resort back to a few of those. I mean, he had a 0-point second half against Detroit.
Yeah.
He's had games where he settled a lot. I think he'll start to settle more.
Absolutely.
And I think that, like I just said, I think obviously Jalen Brunson, I think he's better than Halliburton, but I think Halliburton, he's the best true point guard because obviously they don't have one. He's a true point guard, and they got the better coach in my opinion. So I'm going to take that with, I think Miles Turner's going to have a big series. I just think that all 5 players on the court can shoot. I think Nembhard's going to have a big series if he gets, the right switches on him. I think it'll be very close, though. I think, like you said, I think it goes 7.
And by the way, if Indiana did make it to the finals, which is a very likely possibility, I would say, this will easily be the team with the worst superstar to ever make it to a finals. And once again, that's not an indictment because Tyrese Halliburton is just a winning basketball player. Yeah. But it will be impressive, and we are definitely stepping into a new era of basketball.
Yes. And I just think that his style just goes against every fan and honestly, a lot of people who don't have the highest basketball knowledge, it just don't really make sense to them. Yeah. Why is it not Anthony Edwards, give me the ball, get out the way?
Absolutely.
Why is it not Jalen Brunson, fourth quarter, give me the ball, get out the way? But it translates to winning.
Yeah.
And he's one of the best passers in the NBA, fast, makes the right decision every single time.
And I think we're at a point where the most athletic teams are winning these series. And the Pacers with their speed, the Thunder with their speed, especially defensively. The Knicks, not the fastest team, but their wings are get after it. Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, and OG.
Yeah.
And then you got the Timberwolves who are, they are long all over. So these are teams that are winning now. And obviously the Celtics were in that boat. But, Drew Holiday aged very quick. Kristaps Porzingis sick. Al Horford aged a little bit. Exactly. So these athletic teams do have advantages at certain points in these playoffs. I want to know, though, since we just got done with the Nuggets losing, where do you think the Nuggets go this offseason? What do you think the primary thing that needs to be assessed this offseason?
I think the only people who are untouchable are the big 3.
Okay.
I think every single player you got to talk trades with. You have to talk trades with
Michael Porter Jr.
You got to talk
Russell Westbrook.
Russell Westbrook, if he's down, I don't know if he earned himself more money, but if he'll take the minimum again, sign him to that. Because it's a 1 year, so sign him again to that maybe. But Michael Porter Jr., you got to get a player that could do almost what he just did, but for cheaper. You got,
and it won't be that hard.
No,
honestly.
Go get a Cam Johnson.
Yeah.
Cam Johnson exactly what I would trade for it because Michael Porter Jr. in the Nets could actually be better than just a catch and shoot.
Yeah.
He could become an off the dribble a little bit.
Yeah.
He could expand his game more. So
absolutely,
it doesn't seem like you're trading the same player because you could be getting a much better player than what he was in Denver.
Yeah.
So that'll be very interesting to see. And Bron, he's the heart and soul of your team with Gordon. But once again, if you can get a better player, I think the biggest thing
is shooting.
I just think it's shooting.
Yeah.
The way that OKC just guarded Jokic, honestly, is embarrassing for the Calvin Booth, the previous GM. The fact that you put one of the greatest offensive players in NBA history who's a center and dominates the paint and gave him average shooting.
Yeah.
because Calvin didn't know Aaron Gordon was going to shoot that well this year. So what if Aaron Gordon really went his shot? Then all you have is Michael Porter Jr.
Absolutely.
And Jamal Murray. Like, that's just bad. That's bad roster building and letting guys like once again with Jokic, it's not that hard. You have guys like KCP who looked amazing and
goes anywhere else and is just
they're just solid.
Yeah.
You know, guys like Bruce
Brown.
Bruce Brown.
Yeah.
Looked amazing. Like
you don't hear from him. You haven't heard from him
since. And it's like if you could just pair certain guys like that with Jokic, you're fine.
Yeah,
like,
it's not too hard, but it's just these talent evaluators haven't been the greatest for them.
And I guess you gotta hope that Julian Strouder develops and Payne Watson develop even more. But other than that, you're kind of stuck.
Yeah.
You can't, with the new CBA rules, you can't have too many max contract players. And I think we won't see dynasties anymore unless it changes. Like, as good as OKC is, a lot of these players will just be gone.
Absolutely.
Like, even when they're young, because they can't afford to pay Shea, Chet, and J-Dub. They can't afford to pay all three.
No.
Like, they just can't. And if you do afford to pay all three, your 4, 5, and 6 are going to lag the Nuggets. You're going to have Isaiah Joe starting.
Yeah.
You're going to, like, that's what it's going to look like.
Absolutely.
So you have to pick your poison, and I don't know exactly what I would do.
I think in this new NBA, there's so many different matchup problems that different teams propose to each other, and teams are absolutely built to, beat the top dogs. We just saw it with New York beating a 5 that could compete with Boston. So that's really what we're looking at. It's hard to win in this league, and it's not about the fact that obviously it's hard to win playoff series, but we're talking about back-to-back. You're winning 8 straight playoff series against teams that, we're talking about matchups. We're talking about, hey, how long was your previous series? Hey, is your players going to make shots this night?
Are they healthy?
Are they healthy?
Because I think even, once again, as much as the Celtics were down, I think we would have had a hell of a shot with Jason Tatum back on our team. I really do. We came down from 0-3, and before he got hurt in that Game 7, I thought we had a chance. So I just think health is another thing it's hard to stay healthy. Jaylen Brown just announced he had a torn meniscus during the series. Like, it's just like...
And that's with this Thunder team specifically, it's like naming all of those things, the one thing we lack is shot making. And there is definitely a series out of 8 series that we would have to win to go back-to-back. There is one where we get super cold. I mean, we were cold in this one. The Nuggets just didn't have the offensive firepower to fire back. But the Thunder, I don't know if they're the team that can go back-to-back, and they would be, at this point, my favorites with 4 teams left to win this championship. So it's crazy how these windows flip and turn, because looking forward to next year, it's not like I think any of these teams, Minnesota, Indiana, or New York, would be higher favorites than OKC looking into next year. Mm-hmm. But that's what you're talking about. Like this, it's going to be a new team that arises. I've been thinking about the Pistons lately, and if they could maybe get a number 2 about Kevin Durant. I think the
Pistons and the Magic, with the way the East is constructed, the Pistons and the Magic have different strategies they would have to use. But I think if you're the Pistons, the guys that just didn't play, like Jaden Ivey, your picks, Ron Holland, players like that, you have to throw that in a package for Devin Booker. Yeah. Because Devin Booker would be an elite number 2 with Cade Cunningham.
Oh, my goodness.
It would be an elite number 2. I
think if they make that move, I would automatically have them as favorites in the East. If they get Devin Booker at this point in time next year, yes, I'm not going to lie.
The only way I would say no is if,
you give up too many pieces.
Not even that. Let's just say the Knicks win the finals. Then it's like, dang,
but we just talked about how hard it is to really repeat.
But I still think,
and the fact that the Pistons just played them this tough and honestly could have won more than just those 2 games.
Yeah, but I also think that if you take into account that, Boston didn't go back-to-back, but I think if we restart the playoffs and everybody was healthy right now, you would pick Boston as a favorite.
See, I don't know.
If everyone was healthy, and you would pick them. I ain't saying they would win. Yeah. I'm saying everyone would be like, I'm choosing
But my thing is, what I'm saying is based on the last 9 years of evidence and teams not repeating, going back, I would take that risk at this point and picking a team with Cade Cunningham and Devin Booker in the Eastern Conference. Yeah, that's a great package. I completely agree with you. I'm talking about I think you have to keep Asar. Asar is going to be a defensive anchor for a very long time. Yeah. But other than that, everyone is expendable other than maybe Duren as well. So Duren, Booker, Asar Thompson, and Cade Cunningham. If you keep that 4 together,
they're not going to want Tobias Harris. You keep them too. They're going to want the young guys. And as long as you keep Asar, I think you go for a guy like that. And then Magic, you got to get shooting. Yeah. And your players have to stay healthy, because if you have another playoff run where one of your point guards is down or out, whether it's Cole Anthony, whether it's Jalen Suggs, whatever. Like, you got to get off those guys too if they're proving that they can't stay healthy. So, and I'm not a big fan of the committee backcourt. Like, if you could get just a point guard that could play the whole game almost, go get that and have another backup and get a player that you think could play a TJ McConnell-like role.
Absolutely.
Because right now you have a duo that doesn't complement themselves at all.
No.
You have a duo that essentially does the same things. They get to the rim well, they slash well, they get to the free throw line, they put pressure on the rim. They're two-way players.
Yes.
But where's the compliment? Where's but if they take that away, shooting. There's no shooting. Like, and they're one of the top defensive teams in the league.
Yeah, and they gave the Celtics a tough series, but you can't there's a limit on
you got to score.
Exactly. You got to score at a certain point.
At some point people are just going to hit shots no matter how good defense.
Yeah.
And you're seeing that even when OKC just won this series, the fact that it was longer than it was supposed to be is simply on the fact that they don't have high power offense.
No, like it's not really volume scores.
No.
I would sit here and argue that Indiana has maybe the most high volume scores left in the playoffs, which is crazy to me because once again, people do not want to give this team credit. But what Aaron Nesmith is doing in the playoffs right now, I think averaging 15 points a game.
Yeah, somewhere around
Andrew
16,
Nembhard
15.
and Tyrese Halliburton, who we had said was a better backcourt than the Cavs backcourt before the series. Pascal Siakam, who has been on a championship team and in that championship run was elite. Miles Turner, who 10 years going on has been one of the best shot-making bigs. You're bringing Benedict Mathurin off the bench. TJ McConnell, great. This is crazy shot-making across the board.
If they were to mess around and win a ring, or even if they make the championship, we got to start talking about Pascal Siakam as one of the best number twos in the game. On the simple, it's not good for views and all stuff like that. And he's not the popular name, but he's been to 2 finals as a number 2 as a power forward.
Absolutely. And just equating to what he can do in providing for winning basketball, he's a high-level defender. Can guard probably 1 through 4. He can pick up the 5 at times.
Yes.
He can shoot the 3 ball, especially off of catch and shoot opportunities. He hasn't had as many ISO opportunities because Tyrese Halliburton is the number 1. But Pascal Siakam, when he is going, he is going. It gives me a little bit of J-Dub vibes in the way he plays, but Pascal Siakam has just been a little bit more consistent based off of experience alone.
And I think it's just impressive. I saw a stat the other day. Halliburton this entire year on go-ahead shots under 2 minutes. Like, go ahead. Like, you're down 1 or 2, and it's to take the lead under 2 minutes. He's 10 for 11. Like, that's just a crazy stat.
That's
like,
insane.
He missed 1 shot whenever we're down to take the lead.
That's big time.
Like, that's huge. And, I think, the first series got him out in 5. Next series got him out in 5. I think we just predicted both of these series will go 7.
Yeah.
I think you and me will both be surprised, and one of these series will be done in 5.
Yeah, I know, because a lot of how this is playing out is just these teams. There are certain teams that know how to capitalize better at the end of the games. Yes. I mean, we saw that in Nuggets and Thunder consistently.
And that's how it was with the Cavs. Like, you're watching the Cavs thinking, all right, they're about to pull this off.
Yeah.
And then you got the
7-point
dunk
mess
come in from Nesmith, then Halliburton gaining you, then offensive rebound.
Absolutely.
You have all this stuff happen. And like you said about bad losses, it takes one bad loss. I mean, we're talking about it's over in 5.
Yeah.
We're talking about there would be a game 6 in Indiana for Cleveland to take it back home for 7. There's a completely different mindset going into that game.
Cleveland is still in this series if they win that game too.
Yes.
And we're talking about this team maybe coming back. Like, it's a completely different outlook. Boston. If Boston can win a game early, we might be talking about them seriously
winning 7th
without Jason Tatum.
Yes,
like that might be a serious discussion. So it's crazy how these bad losses have affected teams.
There is a completely realistic world where Boston was up 3-0.
Bro, it's been in every series.
Yes,
the Thunder, it was a talent gap right there. That's why they won that series because we gave them 2 games.
The Knicks, the refs gave them 1.
Which one?
The foul on the 3-point shot. Everyone in the world knows that's a foul. For games.
And, against the Pistons.
Yes. Against the Pistons.
Absolutely. Yes, I agree with that. And then
that's a 7-game series.
The Timberwolves. If Steph Curry don't get hurt, you're talking about a bad loss in game 1 with no Steph Curry for the final 75% of that game. 2-0. Yeah, it's crazy how that stuff works. So we're going to see what bad losses happen. Hopefully there aren't a lot because, once again, all these teams are kind of similar. Young stars. the league is getting younger, guys. I'm sorry for, once again, you KD, Bron, and Curry guys that still want this to be what the NBA is.
KD, Curry, and Bron are done, and I don't think any of them will win another ring.
No, they're not winning another. It's just not going to happen.
It's just not going to happen, and you're going to have these hopeful things. I think the Warriors have one more chance to do something special if their GM does what he can do this offseason to improve. Yeah. But if you just throw out the same team, even when healthy, no. Same thing with the Lakers.
I'm concerned with the Lakers,
I think the Lakers have a chance, to get a big or two. Yeah. Probably two bigs. If you can get two bigs this offseason, one good one, one serviceable one. At first, Miles Turner was on the table. He's not leaving no more.
Yeah, he's not.
I think Brook Lopez, you got to go out to Brook Lopez. He is, that would be a complete upgrade.
Yeah, and then obviously Dallas probably isn't a trade partner with the Lakers right now. But if you could go get Daniel Gafford or Derek Lively, that would be a great opportunity as well.
Yeah.
So that'll be it. Actually, real quick, I want to talk to you one thing. I want to talk about some Cowboys real quick. I just wanted to know your thinking about George Pickens going to the Cowboys, honestly.
Yeah. I know George Pickens spoke up and said essentially wanted to win and whatever. Yeah. It's just but you drafted O-line early.
Yeah.
I think they took a step forward. I don't like their head coaching hire still. I don't think that was a good hire.
Absolutely.
I think they took a step forward, but it doesn't move me in any way. I don't think they're definitely not making the playoffs.
Yeah. But you weren't mad at the George Pickens move.
I'm not mad at it, but once again, I don't understand it because you're giving up things and you might only get them for 1 year. Yeah. And then when you're only getting George Pickens for 1 year, he's not. If it's like this, if he doesn't hoop, if he doesn't play good, then it didn't turn out how you wanted it to.
Absolutely.
If he does play good, you can't give him number one money and someone else will give him number one money. So I think it doesn't work out exactly how you wanted it to no matter what.
Because you regardless of what it is, you're not contending. And my thing is, the quality of player George Pickens has been in question in this trade, and it's irrelevant in my opinion because you just explained why the trade wouldn't work out. In my opinion, George Pickens as a football player, there's not a lot of receivers you want. Bro,
I just don't think it's good for their timeline. I don't think it's good for their timeline. It's not at all,
but let's consider his situation in Pittsburgh. The guys he had throwing him the ball. The system he was playing in that really hadn't had a productive receiver since Antonio Brown. Maybe Deontay Johnson if you want to throw him in there. Let's really talk about what type of system he was playing in. And now you have Dak Prescott who has, favorably targeted receivers, locked on receivers, which will be good for Pickens. So as a football player, I have no question about it. But the Cowboys, it seems like they go against themselves when they make these types of moves. Drafting Tyler Booker in that first round, I told you I thought that was a great move because it's okay, we're doing this the smart way. We're doing this, we're taking it slow. Yeah. We're not in a rush to get this stuff out the way. But you give up a third pick for a guy that you're only going to have for a year, and you're not going to do anything this year. That's just the reality of the situation.
No, you're not. And I think that's the type of move you make when you're a year away. When the Rams went and got all them guys, Von Miller, Bobby Wagner, all them dudes, Matt Stafford. Yeah. That's the type of move you make. Yeah. You don't make it when you just didn't make the playoffs. Yeah.
And I would say
that's the type of move you make if you're Washington. You're we're one step away.
We just need one more.
Exactly.
And I think the Steelers honestly did win that trade. Yeah. And getting worse. And once again, let's talk about this real quick as well because I got flamed for this in the TikTok comments one time. I wish we had the time, and I might do this one day in my off time. I wish we had the time to make a tier list of fan bases I would want to be a part of. Just looking at, winning, what certain franchises have done, winning, the excitement that they've brought. Why do Steelers fans think that they should be held in a higher regard just because of the 6 championships when 4 of them came in the 1970s? Okay, and I'll just start with that real quick. The last 10 years, you've been irrelevant as they come. Literally average, middle of the pack. No one is paying attention to you. Zero playoff wins. And I understand, we haven't had a losing season. And bro, no one has ever thought that y'all were going to win anything of value. No one. Absolutely no one.
Y'all were undefeated.
Last year was the only year, and it went out horribly. Yeah. So, Steelers fans, I'm looking for where y'all should be excited. And this is probably where y'all should be excited right now, the fact that y'all are trying to rebuild, giving up George Pickens. But Steelers fans, stop acting like y'all should be held in higher regard. I can name teams right now that could be more excited than y'all. Let's go Eagles. Let's go Lions. Let's go Ravens. Let's go Bills. Let's go Chiefs. Let's go Texans. Chargers. Broncos. Let's go Bengals. Ravens, if I didn't say that already. Bears, they have a quarterback. Panthers, I'm not gonna lie, I would be more excited as a Panther. Now they don't deserve that because they haven't won anything, so I'm not gonna say Panthers. But I don't know, there are just a lot of teams that have done more recently that I'll be more excited to be fans of. And I honestly do consider...
Well, it's about 10 years ago the Panthers were in the Super Bowl, so...
See, I mean, they were in the Super Bowl. We were in the Super Bowl
and we're undefeated. I think that one season the Panthers had outrules the past 10 that the Panthers had.
That the Steelers had?
Yes.
Yes.
That one season... legendary. Cam Newton's impact on Charlotte.
Thank you. That's exactly what I was about to say.
Cam Newton doesn't even get his jersey should be retired.
Yes,
Number one, you can't wear.
People don't understand what he did for this franchise. We still think about that.
Cam Newton is literally he didn't win a championship. He's Russell Westbrook for OKC. Cam Newton is that for the Panthers.
Absolutely. Yes.
That's what he is.
Yes.
You didn't love his style all the time.
No.
Certain things he didn't always translate to the highest level of winning. But his impact on Charlotte and the people around, I've never seen more in excitement. And the thing about it is, impact needs to be brought in when you talk about ranking these players. Yes.
Russell Westbrook, regardless of how he impacted winning, he impacted how multiple young kids are going to go up and watch this game and play this game with effort. Cam Newton, the same way, the way he played with swag, with juice every time he hit the field. That's what kids looked at.
That's why we have to talk about Michael Jordan in such a regard. People really wasn't caring about shoes.
No.
Now it's like you care about what type of shoes you have on, and I got the Nikes, I got Jordans. There wasn't Nike wasn't a thing.
No.
All these things weren't. That's why Jordan's impact. No one has done it yet to this day. No one is tripping about. As much as we love LeBron and KD and all their shoes, no one is tripping about their shoes they were Jordans to this day.
Yes, to this day. So it's once again that's an argument for another day. But we did have to speak about that, and we will very soon. It's
the same thing with Steph Curry. The way people play the game.
Oh yeah, it's because of him. Allen Iverson. I give him the same amount.
Play the way they do because of Steph Curry.
Exactly. People dress the way they dress now in the NBA because of Allen Iverson.
Yes.
These pillars of just being an icon in these sports, we have to respect them. We do have to put them on pedestals. And Russell Westbrook, I'm not going to lie, is just the best example in my opinion because what he has given the game, energy-wise, just playing at your hardest 100%, that's the example that you want kids looking at when they play the game of basketball.
I like that kids are following Shea.
Yeah.
But that's my worry with this next generation of the type of and I think it's starting to trend more towards the right direction.
Yeah.
But there was a point where you got, these kids are idolizing players that, don't have the best habits, or I would want maybe my son
nonchalant hooper.
The nonchalant, John Morant situation, what he does on social media. I think it's starting to trend in a better direction with, Shea. Anthony Edwards, if he could clean up his image a little bit, not even the way he acts, just literally language and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Same thing, but I think we have a Brunson.
Halliburton and Brunson are both.
Halliburton and Brunson clean. I think these are good guys. It's starting to trend.
And the way Anthony Edwards plays the game is favorable.
Yes.
For obviously, but Anthony Edwards we're cool with the swag, how swaggy he is and what he does post game and all that stuff. It's the you don't need to cuss type of thing.
Yes.
You force that one a little bit. Some of these NBA players,
LeBron's cussed before.
I feel like it's everybody.
Steph is cussed
some
before.
players feel like they need to get in front of the mic and be more of a showman than they needed to be.
Yeah.
And that's what I get from Ant. I don't get Ant trying to be that bad person. I just think Ant is a showman.
No, 100%.
And sometimes he's gonna misstep.
It's just about how kids are gonna interpret
exactly.
it. Even John Morant, I don't know him. He could be not that. But the image that he's showing us is that he is.
Because all we get is the post-game interviews
John Morant
when you're
could just be the greatest guy that doesn't actually really do that. It's social media. I know it's fake.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about your impact on kids that don't know that it's fake.
Exactly.
And don't decipher.
Exactly.
So that's where it's coming from.
Yeah, well, we got the yapping in this video, so that was great.
Yeah.
But thank you guys for tuning in. Thunder gonna win the championship this year. That was our hardest series. Like I said, whoever came out this series, I thought was going to win a championship. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe, and peace out.